Okay, welcome to the Crypto Giants channel. Please subscribe to this channel, click on the icon below to subscribe, and also click on the notification icon so that when I upload videos you can get a notification. Please don't forget to subscribe. Okay, on my previous video I looked at, I explained what is Bitcoin and how is something which is totally digital can have value. So in this video I'm going to look at some of the influential people in the world, wealthy people, what are they saying about Bitcoin. I'm also going to look at explaining what is Bitcoin mining and actually show you a video of a Bitcoin mining farm, so that you can understand what people are doing around the world and the amount of investments people are making into Bitcoin. So it's very important for everyone to get involved, because if you look at the current financial system, it has created a lot of inequalities. The current statistics, they state that about 2% of the most wealthy people in the world, they own more than 50% of the wealth in the world. Brian Singer, one of the renowned world investment strategists, he says Bitcoin has an ability of moving most of the world's population out of poverty than anything we have ever seen. And just to put this into perspective, my country in 2010, it was the host country for a soccer World Cup. And the tournament started around June and it ended in July. And I looked at the price of Bitcoin during that time. During that time, the price of Bitcoin was 12 cents, equivalent to the currency of my country. It was 12 cents. There's a special instrument that we use in my country to cheer our soccer players, and that instrument is called a vuvuzela. And the price of a vuvuzela in 2010, during the time of the World Cup, it was around 30 rands. And I remember clearly because I also bought one. If I had bought Bitcoin for 30 rands in 2010, I would have bought 250 Bitcoins. And 9 years down the line, in 2019, the price of Bitcoin, it is about 160,000 rands. If you multiply that with the amount of Bitcoins I would have, my net worth would be about 38 million rands. I think just to put that into perspective on what is Brian Singer trying to say when he says Bitcoin has an ability of moving most of the world's population out of poverty than anything we've ever seen, in terms of closing the gap between the rich and the poor, because the current financial system, it is already rigged in favor of the people who have, because they've got the financial muscle of putting policies in place which favors them. And Bitcoin is something which is totally decentralized. It doesn't belong to any entity. There's no government which has power over Bitcoin. So in this video I'm going to be looking at some of the most influential people and richest people in the world. What are they saying about Bitcoin? I'll be looking at Chamath, who's a venture capitalist, is a previous executive of Facebook. What is he saying about Bitcoin? I'm also going to be sharing a video for Richard Branson, who's a co-founder of the Virgin Group. What is he also saying about Bitcoin? I'm also going to be looking at Bill Gates, who's the second richest person in the world, what he has to say with Bitcoin. Guys, Bitcoin is huge. And for you to understand the enthusiasm, the passion that I have towards Bitcoin, I want to challenge you to do this calculation. Bitcoin, it is a transactional currency, and also it acts as a store of value at the same time. So it's competing in a very tangible market of transactional currencies, but also in a market of assets, because it also acts as a store of value. Look at the market cap for the current transactional currencies. and look at the market cap for the assets which are categorized as a store of value, and ask yourself a question and make an assumption that what is the reasonable assumption that Bitcoin can absorb in terms of market capitalization in those categories. And then that will give you an estimate of the total Bitcoin market cap, and then divide that by the amount of Bitcoins in circulation at that time. Currently in circulation, there's about 17 million Bitcoins in circulation, and that will give you the price of Bitcoin. And the numbers that I get are ridiculous numbers, and I don't want to share them with you. But what I can say is the world has not seen anything. That's what I can say. Okay, please don't forget to subscribe. Please also click on the notification button. Please enjoy also the videos which I'm sharing with you for Shamoth, Richard Branstein, and Bill Gates. Thank you.
Bitcoin and things like it is the equivalent of the red pill. Okay? We are entering a completely world of uncharted water right now.
Have you made any investments in Bitcoin?
So, I mean, I personally, I own Bitcoin in my hedge fund. I own Bitcoin in my fund. I own Bitcoin in my private account. It is a huge deal. It's a huge, huge, huge deal. Because what you're talking about right now is for the next 3 to 5 years, an unbelievably better store of value. It is gold 2.0.
I think this is a currency that's really going to work eventually.
Well, I think it is working, and there will be other currencies like it that may be even better. But in the meantime, there's a big industry around Bitcoin, and you know, people have made fortunes out of Bitcoin.
Bitcoin is exciting because it shows how cheap it can be. Bitcoin is better than currency in that you don't have to be physically in the same place. And, of course, for large transactions, currency can get pretty inconvenient.
If you're familiar with Bitcoin, you may have heard of Bitcoin mining. It helps to think of Bitcoin miners as a combination of accountants and gold miners because they are responsible for 2 jobs: confirming Bitcoin transactions and discovering new Bitcoins. There are thousands of independent miners and their computers sharing the job. In order to provide security against mistakes and fraud, they are constantly double-checking each other's work. Their work fulfills an important responsibility: to confirm all Bitcoin transactions. When you send Bitcoins, miners confirm the transaction and write down the details in a public ledger, called a block. They're then rewarded with freshly mined Bitcoins and a small transaction fee for their hard work. While they're recording transactions, miners are also playing a lottery with the block's encryption. And the prize is new Bitcoins. The reward will go to the first miner that correctly guesses the number that decrypts the block and submits it to the network. The completed block is added to the blockchain, which lists every Bitcoin transaction in history. The more computing power a miner has, the faster they can work to guess the right number, and the sooner they can submit the block to the network. The difficulty of guessing the right number increases based on how fast the miners complete blocks, and is adjusted so that no matter how many miners there are, one block is solved every 10 minutes. This means that Bitcoins are always discovered at a steady, predictable rate, while being distributed fairly. The amount of Bitcoins rewarded from each block will decrease by half, roughly every 4 years, until one day, no new Bitcoins will be issued. This is predicted to happen in the year 2140. At that time, transaction fees will replace new Bitcoins as the reward for mining. Mining is what keeps Bitcoin going, while keeping it secure for everyone.
It's called the land of fire and ice. Ancient Iceland is now the home to an extremely modern endeavor, mining for Bitcoin. Noisy computers run 24/7, hoping to solve the mathematical puzzles that create the virtual money. Those who succeed are rewarded, with bitcoins. What is all of this?
So all of these are optimized in the design for Bitcoin mining.
It takes this number of computers to stand a realistic chance of mining bitcoins and winning the blockchain battle. Since January, Bitcoin's value soared some 450%. So with returns like these, you can put up with a bit of noise. Why is it so noisy?
It's the fans on the top. These fans are strong fans. They take out a lot of air.
There is one overriding reason why these Bitcoin mines are here in Iceland. Plentiful, cheap electricity. The country abounds with geothermal energy. The whole setup in Iceland is perfect for cooling all these machines. Ordinary air from outside is just drawn in, wafted through the computers, and then heated up and sucked back outside. Some call Bitcoin the biggest financial bubble the world has ever seen. Those who run this Bitcoin farm see it more a part of a thrilling future.
There's several rival cryptocurrencies coming up which are competing for market share in the space, and many of them offer similar features. But I think Bitcoin has most of the benefits that all the cryptocurrencies have, and it's going to be the largest player for a long time to come.
Iceland is a volatile, unforgiving landscape, perhaps perfect for Bitcoins. It makes this country a fitting location to mine digital gold.
Okay, please don't forget to subscribe. Please also click on the notification button. Thank you.